So what we're going to do is replace the cartridge on the hot side of a Glacier Bay Roman faucet. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to show you what I have and the model number and also my parts page, because it was this hot cartridge RP20013 is what I needed to replace. And I will tell you that if you search Home Depot, it gives you a different part, but it was the right one. So here's my Glacier Bay Roman faucet, and it started leaking on the hot side. And the moral of this story is don't wait too long, because when you do, the water will cause oxidation, rust, and it was a bitch getting this off. So I will tell you that I've already got it off. I put it back together to make this video so you can see how it comes off. When I searched YouTube, the internet, I couldn't find any videos that showed how to do this for this type of faucet. So here we go. I'm going to set the phone down and give it a shot. First thing you're going to do is take out the little rubber stopper, and then you can access the set screw. I wish I could tell you what size this is, but I don't know. But so you take that out. You should just be able to loosen it. I ended up taking it all the way out. And then I got into my first problem, because this was stuck. It would not come up. I sprayed down in there with spray. I tapped on it. I set up a clutch holder at one point, but that wasn't effective. I actually went over and looked and make sure I was doing it right from the cold side, and I knew it was supposed to come off. So what I ended up doing was basically, and you can see that it's all marked up now, but this is threaded. So I just kept unthreading this, and eventually it popped off the handle. But you can see why it was stuck on there, and why you don't want to wait once you see a leak. All right, then the next thing is there's a screw on top here, and you just back it out. Then this has to come off. So when I tried to take it off, it wasn't coming up. And I didn't know for sure that it had to come off, but I figured it did. So again, I went over to the cold side, and yeah, it popped right off. So I figured that it just had to be stuck on there. So I just used a pair of pliers, and eventually I just pried it up, and it eventually came off. Yeah, it's stuck again. But if you work it, there it goes. It came off, but again, that's just because of the corrosion from the valve being wet. So then I get to my next problem. I went ahead and took this off. The next problem was this is threaded and needs to come off. Well, of course it was stuck, and when I tried to turn it, it was just turning the whole valve. And I thought, you know, that's not good, because that could snap off downstairs. Luckily, I turned the water off if it did. Make sure you have shutoffs before you even start. Eventually, I just took a pair of big channel locks, and I held the bottom I took another pair of channel locks and I just started working this and working it, and eventually it broke loose and I was able to pull out, to unscrew it. Now, it comes with a little retaining clip, which I didn't put back on, but it goes right on there. And I had taken it off as well. All right, so now I'm down to the cartridge, which you can see I just pulled it out, but originally I had to use the channel locks and work it out of there because, again, of the corrosion. So now that I got it all out, I'm going to get it cleaned up and get the new one put in. So I did buy a new cartridge from Home Depot. So if you don't know, Glacier Bay is a private label for Home Depot. And while they didn't have the exact part number that came with the original faucet that's listed in the manual that I kept for 10 years for some reason, it did say this was a match. So we're going to give it a shot. All right, so we're going to see about putting in the cartridge, and it is slotted. So we're going to test it, which means it can only go in two ways. We're going to try this way. Make sure it's pushed down in there. Now, we can thread our cap back on. Maybe. Using the channel locks, get it snug. All right. As I mentioned, the old cartridge had a slot in it where this pin goes, but the new one doesn't. So I'm going to assume that no retaining pin is necessary. So we're going to take our corroded cap, put it back on, put our top pin in, put our marked up trim on, I'm just doing finger tight on that. And now we're ready to put our handle back on. See if we can get it down in there because it's kind of corroded inside. And then we're ready to put our set screw back in. So I will tell you, once I got it back together, my faucet was opening the wrong way. It was going back. So I had to take it apart again and reverse the cartridge 180 degrees. So it went in the other way, and now it pulls forward just like the cold side does. So my wife will be happy about that. So again, just ready to tighten up the set screw. Just get it snug, put in the rubber stopper, and what should have taken about 10 or 15 minutes took me about a week. You know how it is. So let's go turn the water on and see what we got. Okay, so I went down and turned the Shut-off valve's back on, and I think we're gonna have water. Yep. So my wife will be happy that there's not water all over her bathtub, but she's not gonna be happy that I marked up the trim plate. Well, maybe next time.